So now we're working on hair that is, you know, inside a pipe. I mean, I guess most of us, a saxophone or wind instrument player. And we will have to have an action on this hair. So I would say there are two ways of having an action on the hair that's in the instrument. Is the main action will be through the embouchure. Okay, on the flute is really external to you. We can add the whole pipe, and then the second element is the key mechanism. Okay, I don't know if it's clear for everybody, but sometimes you can really hear it popping, sometimes not. So I think I'm wrong here. So you realize that you can make here the note even by opening the keys. Just the way that the leg of the key hit the body. And will make resonate actually the hair inside. So it will be really depending on the speed of the movement. So you have to know your instrument. It's very important to practice even without blowing. Because actually you're putting the whole hair column in vibration just by just pressing the keys. It's very important, for example, if you have to make like a staccato pianissimo on a low note. It's impossible. As we said, this hair column doesn't want to move at all. So if you have to do, you just hear nothing. But if you do, if you hit the key and you put the column and vibration by percussion of the key, the waves is in it, and then you just need the hair to nourish the wave, not to initiate the wave. Actually, that's the worst place to initiate the wave. The ideal place would be the node. You know, to put the energy right on the node, which is not possible. So you do it by the other hand, where it's impossible, theoretically. If you have this enormous column of hair, it doesn't want to move that. But so that's why it's very important, even in the sound, and even, you know, to have the fingers work together with the hair. It's there. It's the same for the saxophone, you know. So now we try to step a little more in the mechanics of this whole thing. So I think I approached pretty much of what I wanted to discuss today, and we have like 20 minutes left. Maybe answer questions about all we discussed. And I will step more into the mouthpiece and things like that tomorrow. So I'm here to answer your questions. Whatever they can be.
What about the difference just between the cone shape tube and the cylinder shape tube? Why is harmonics?
Okay, that's the other thing we observe, that as soon as the smaller diameter, not the diameter actually, the surface of the small hand is 4 times smaller than the surface of the big hand, it reacts as an open instrument. So as we've seen, by doing this, we go more to open side. If we have a tone hole that we open more, it will bring more to the balance of an open instrument. It turns to be reacting like an open instrument, while the small surface is 4 times smaller than the big surface. That's a proportion where that starts. So now you have all the proportion of the conus. So that affects, as we see, if we reduce the conus, we tend more to a closed instrument with kind of a more dark type of sound. So it's always a combination of both elements. You know, I don't know, of course, Claudio will tell you probably way more than I can about those things because he's experimenting with that. I did a little bit while I developed the holochrome because I extend the land to low A and I didn't use the same angle on the low range because I extend to the low A not to have one extra note but mostly to have more resistance. So I reduce the diameter, make it kind of darker sounding, I would say, on the hand, because to have this resistance helps to play the high note. It's paradoxal, but the more resistance you have, the easier the high note are, because to play the high notes you need to put more pressure. If it resists more, it's easier to put pressure without having to change the embouchure and things. So that's also, I would say, part of, I wouldn't say the secret, but the recipe of an instrument maker to balance the different angle of the conus in the neck. Actually, the neck is not exactly conical, it's parabolic. Then go to the pipe itself. You have various angle. Can start from a bigger diameter going to a smaller. What we try to do all the time is to have as open sound as possible with as much resistance as we can to go deep in the sound. So.
Does the inner part of the mouthpiece also contribute to the angle of the cone, and is that part of that equation, or is that?
According to Adolf Sachs' theory, yes, but it doesn't everything affect. That we'll see way more precisely tomorrow. But actually, it's true that to define the length of the mouthpiece, it's like you would prolongate the conus till 0.0, and this volume has to be the inner volume of the mouthpiece. So if you have a small chamber, you need a long mouthpiece. If you have a big open chamber, you need a shorter mouthpiece to get the pitch, you know. But that's also very much theory, I would say. But from those elements, you know where to start from and develop.
So far, you've spoken only about the physical dimensions of the air column itself and the instrument you've created. If that is constant, can you change the materials of the instrument?
Yeah, that's what we said, because you talked about the overtones, and I said, okay, that's not only what makes the sound of the instrument. Let's stay in the instrument. That's the harmonics, indeed. That's the way it vibrates. That's in accordance with the architecture, let's say the general architecture. But then you have a sound that's produced. And you have a lot of what we name sympathetic resonance. It happens to everybody sometime. You play one note in one room and you hear a buzz together with the note you play. Why? Because there is an object in the room that vibrates on the same frequency as one harmonic of your sound. It will vibrate and generate this proper range in which there is a particular buzz that you might not like. So what we try as making instruments is to have then the material that vibrates to produce buzz, I would say. It's more buzz than sound in a way, but buzz that we like to contribute as a part of the total construction of the tone. So that's a difficult element, because those buzz are very wild. You know, it's always the same story. You're home, you're practicing, and there is a buzz. And you're sure it comes from the instrument, and you might be right. That happens, a spring that vibrates on a certain frequency. You go to the repair shop and you play, and this buzz never comes again. Never, never, never. But man, I'm sure there is a buzz, and I can assure you the buzz has disappeared. And you go back home, you practice in the same room, and you have the buzz. Because you have the resonance of the room.
We have a question that came in from on the web, if you want to hear it.
Yeah, I didn't finish my answer here. So, you have a particular buzz. Okay. because you have the resonance of the room that gives a certain, enhancement of that buzz of your horn, because it's just a conjunction of frequencies. And in that particular room, sometimes even if you move 1 meter, the buzz disappears. But your practice is always there. Sometimes you just change a little resonance in the mouth cavity, like instead of doing pop, you're doing pop, a little darker, the buzz is gone. So then you can change it easily. If you change the tension of the spring, you change its resonance by just bending it a little more, and it will never happen anymore. So that's one particular element. But it's true that the material vibrates, and those vibrations we try to have them together with us in the construction of our sound. Do you have any other questions?
Just kind of an extension of the question about the material. How does the composition of the material, say of a pipe or a saxophone, for instance, how does that affect what's going on with the sound waves to get that resultant timbral change?
Okay, I only know what I know about this because I didn't develop too much on that. And so also Claudio will have probably more precise answer to that. But let's say, okay, it's mostly constituted from copper, that is an alloy with different other elements. Those different elements, they bring different, mostly, I don't know the word in English, strong, you say it's stronger if it's less flexible.
Brittle? Yes.
Dureté, in French, dureté. You can measure that. Okay. That's the biggest element on which you will work. So one will resonate with a little more bounce and pop if it's harder, and a little dull if it is softer, let's say. So that will not be what will make the sound, in a way. As we say, what will make the sound, produce the waves and everything, is the architecture and the way you blow. And then you have this thing that will resonate or not with your sound, or sometimes can resonate against your sound. Because if you have waves that are just opposite in phase, they can kill each other, So that's all the thing. But sometimes you use it to trap certain waves you don't want to have that are produced by the shape. You can have an instrument that produces a lot of overtones. You like many of them and some you don't like. An easy way to get rid of it is to have something that resonates in just opposite phase of those frequencies, and that will kill those frequencies. They do that a lot in adjusting the guitar. By working under the table, you have don't know the word in English neither, so the arms, like solid wood things, and by scratching them a little more here and there, they vibrate at different frequencies, and they can just stop certain frequencies. And it's necessary because you have a lot of troubles happening with the E string in the guitar, and that's a way to adjust it. So let's say you need to have those wild harmonics if you want to have a projecting sound, but then they are in the way, and then you find a way to take them away. So that's always all those things. It's a little bit the same, I would say, in the saxophone, but myself, on the instrument, I didn't develop at that point. So Claudio will tell you.
Please join me in thanking Mr. Francois Louis.